Let's talk about the spinal cord. You may recall that it's part of the central nervous system, but it also has connections to the peripheral nervous system, in particular the somatic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, shown on the right, is the control system that acts largely unconsciously and regulates our bodily functions, such as heart rate, digestion, respiratory rate, etc. The system is the primary mechanism that controls our fight or flight response. The somatic nervous system, shown on the left, is involved in our sense of touch, temperature, pain, proprioception, knowing where our body parts are in space, as well as controlling our physical movements. Controlling movement and receiving sensation from the environment is controlled by different pathways along the spinal cord. The afferent pathway, spelled with an A, is information that's sensory, that's being received from the environment and transmitted to the brain. The efferent information, spelled with an E, is the information leaving the brain to tell our bodies how to move. Here we see a slice of the spinal cord and the two pathways controlling movement and receiving sensation from our peripheral nervous system. Here we see the terms dorsal fibers and ventral fibers. The dorsal fibers, the ones on top of the spinal cord, that's on the surface of the back, as you would say, towards the surface of the back, carry information about the body's sensations. But the ventral fibers, the ones that are towards the bottom, would be the ones that carry information about controlling muscles for movement. There are some movements that we don't need our brains to make. For example, the spinal reflex is an automatic movement. It's hard to inhibit because it's automatic, and you don't need your brain to have planned that movement. So have you gone to the doctor's office and they took a little hammer and gently tapped your knee and made your leg kick? Well, that was an example of a spinal reflex. Some reflexes in humans are innate. You don't need to have experienced the world to have them. So at birth, infants will demonstrate the grasp reflex, a sucking reflex, and at the age-appropriate times, they will also show a crawl reflex or a step reflex and a neck reflex. Some of the most interesting facts are that some of these reflexes are present at birth, but then they go away, and then perhaps are helping behavior late in life, like the step reflex. It's not until about the age of 1 that the baby is able to, strength-wise, lift their bodies on the ground and walk. But at birth, they could do the step reflex. Because the spinal cord is involved in both planning movement and also receiving sensation from the environment, when the spinal cord is damaged, it is a huge blow to the individual. Two terms you may be already familiar with are quadriplegia and paraplegia, which describe two conditions that occur from spinal cord injury. Quadriplegia would be losing the ability to move or sense information in all 4 of your limbs, and paraplegia would be losing it in just the lower torso, the legs. In this figure, color is used to show you how damage to a particular part of the spinal cord will map onto paralysis in a particular part of the body. So you see in the lower right, a person with damage at the lumbar region will lose use of their legs and lose sensation in the legs. And as you see that the damage is occurring higher up in the spine, you get more and more paralysis. Human stem cells have been thought of as a possible treatment for spinal cord injury. As you may have learned already, human stem cells are those undifferentiated cells that are capable of being turned into other kinds of cells in the body. And so if scientists can learn how to tell a stem cell, hey, go be a spinal cord cell, it's possible that spinal cord injuries could be repaired. Studies have been going on for decades, and just recently Japan has approved a stem cell treatment for spinal cord injury. That's all for now.